Hello everyone and welcome back. Hopefully at the end of today's episode we will have some stuff actually planted in our raised garden beds and growing at the allotment. So let's address some of the things that we need to sort out from last episode. And the first one is this compost bin. Now, a lot of you have said not to put it here, not to put it on the bark or the cardboard, but to put it at the back of the allotment. As if the compost bin is somewhere over here, right at the back of the allotment, it's not blocking out any sun, and the compost heap can be basically at the back, tidied out of the way. And secondly, I've seen you guys taking the mick out of this setup, saying that there's too much open spaces, too many paths, but we are going to sort that because I have come up with a slight plan. Because we are going to be trying the Three Sisters method on trying to grow cucumber, corn and peas, and this is all going to be done in this area here, so we are going to have to reshuffle the beds. Now, it had become apparent why I've done this, but just remember you guys that this is just a temporary setup for this year. This isn't permanent at all. This is just so we can get stuff growing, just so we can see some positive results instead of just cutting weeds all the time. And talking of cutting weeds, I do need to sort this area out here. Even though I've already put a massive stockpile of wood here, a nice stockpile of stones over there, as everything is starting to regrow literally in all the piles that I've made. So our plan is to remove all the piles that we've got. We're then going to apply a nice sheet on top, and then we're going to reapply our piles, but then hopefully the sheet that we're going to put on top is going to hopefully stop the growth of all the weeds. But first I'm going to take you guys back home to my house and explain to you why we're not ready to plant anything in the ground yet. So yes, in a previous episode, we tried growing some new plants from seeds, and unfortunately, not all of them made it. So what I actually managed to grow was, luckily, all the tomatoes and only one pea plant. The rest of the peas sadly died, and none of the courgettes actually grew at all. So as we noticed the seeds weren't really growing properly, we decided to go a different route. And luckily enough, my girlfriend got me this, which is a seed kit from Amazon, and I did a live stream about it, and we did plant a couple things off it, and two of them were cucumbers and corn. So hopefully at the allotment we're going to have a mixture of sweet corn, cucumber, one pea plant. I might have to plant some more, but now I'm going to transplant these into bigger pots, and we need to let these grow a little bit bigger before I'm actually going to take it to the allotment. So this is cool. You can see the root system starting to grow on these cucumber plants, but they definitely need to go in their own little pots. Let's just be slightly gentle with this. Just one. So with the corn, I planted 4 seeds in each, I think. And on this one here, there's only one of them that's actually grown. But on this one, all 4 have grown. So now I know it's important that you need to grow more than one seed to guarantee results, as if I wanted more corn and I only planted this much, then I've only got 1 growing. So luckily enough, we have got 5. So this one single corn definitely needed transplanting. It's got some nice strong roots coming up. And look at the root system on this one. All of them are fighting competitively to try and get as much of the ground as they can. So it'd be quite nice now to separate them. What have you got, Brinker? Sorry, Brinker. So put these now back in here so they can grow a little bit bigger before we take them back to the allotment. But now back to the allotment. Alright, so let's do this. So you can see this area now where the weeds are slowly trying to take back control. But hopefully we're not going to struggle getting these weeds out like last time, and that's because we've just upgraded our gardening tools. Just want to say a massive thank you to James, who donated me the money and the recommendations on buying this set of tools, which is going to help me greatly on this allotment, as not only does it come with a fork, a spade and a rake, it also comes with a lining tool, I think it's called, and also a hoe. And this is what we're going to be using to clear up the weeds. So that unfortunately does mean we're going to have to say goodbye to our pink tools and our garden rake. If you guys can remember from the first episode, I had to borrow them because my original stuff got locked in a shed that no one could open, and they have been very useful for the last 6 months. But thankfully this upgrade to these tools are a well needed one, as these do need to go back. Alright, so now onto the de-weeding. I've never used a hoe before, so this is going to be a fun, unique experience, but hopefully this should be a lot easier than using my hands or using that hand scraper I had. So let's see how this gets on. That worked quite nicely. Now if you could, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, as I don't know if I'm doing this right. But this tool seems to be perfect for taking off the top layer of the weeds, so like the grass and the smaller stuff. But for the bigger stuff like the brambles, we are going to have to get a mattock to get these out, as these are roots in the ground that I have somehow missed or they're regrowing. So we best try and get as much of it out as we can. So let's start clearing this area up. So I think that'd be it for now. So you guys might have noticed the allotment looks a little bit different, and I'm also wearing some different clothes, and that's because it has been a couple weeks since I last started recording this episode. So in between the start of this video and now, I have managed to film another main channel video, which should be up on my channel. We have had a couple of issues here at the allotment, and that is regrowth of the weeds. So even though this area here, I've already cleared it out in the video, I've had to do it all over again due to how fast the weeds are growing, and everywhere on the allotment the weeds are just growing faster than I can keep up with. So before we actually plant anything in the ground, we are going to have to cover up this area here so we've got a nice base of operations. And also what you guys might have noticed as well is we've now got some pallets ready here, so when we start building our compost heap in the corner of the allotment, but we are going to need many more pallets. Unfortunately 2 isn't going to be enough. We've also acquired a massive water butt, which was on the abandoned lots premises over there, hidden behind all the brambles, and we are literally using this to store all our bramble roots. Hopefully we're going to turn this into a compost tea if the drain plug at the bottom doesn't leak. And also, before you guys start throwing insults at me, yes, I am wearing a Welsh t-shirt, and that's because even though I do live in England and I was born and raised in England, I have got family that come from Wales. So I do kind of support both teams, England and Wales. So especially this year for the World Cup, I will be supporting both teams. So before we start planting stuff in our allotment, we are going to first sort out this area here. We're going to try and make our borders a little bit bigger around our allotment, and then we're going to apply a sheet into the ground, so we'll have a nice area where hopefully no more weeds will be growing. So let's build this area up. It is a bit of a slow process, but this should help us try and at least control some of the weed situation. And also something quite good that we've done is that we've now actually marked our main walkway into our allotment plot. So let's walk straight in like this and we're into our allotment. Ugh. So this border here is finished. I've still got to do this one and still got to do the border on the other side, but it is looking good. Let's get on to the fun part of the video and let's get some stuff into the ground. So you guys might have noticed as well in the video that I've gone out and bought some soil. I've bought some topsoil and I've also bought some multi-purpose compost. And that's because the soil at my allotment premises is not the best. It is really clayey and the roots of any plants aren't really going to go into the ground. So we're going to have to buy soil for now, as unfortunately our compost pile has not completed its compost cycle yet. And if anything, it's still got a long ways to go until any of this is actually usable compost. But unfortunately, that means we've had to buy our own soil for now. But there is a reason why I've got more topsoil than compost. And it's because we need topsoil to help us fill up our garden beds. Now, topsoil, there is nothing special about it. It's basically just soil that you would use in your garden or something just to fill in mounds. There's no extra nutrients or stuff to it. It's literally just plain soil. See what I mean? It's just a dark soil. Like I said, there's nothing really special about it. So now that we know that the raised bed is looking a lot better, we are now going to be adding some compost. The ratio usually is 1 compost to 2 lots of topsoil. I know people will just do 1 for 1, so 1 topsoil to 1 compost. And I also know some people just use a lot of compost and not a lot of topsoil. And the reason why we put the compost on top of the topsoil is because all the nutrients in the compost will slowly seep down into the topsoil and basically give them some topsoil some life. So when we do plant stuff in here, the whole soil should then be basically full of nutrients to help the plants grow. So just going to do the same to this bed now. I'm going to be right back as well, and I'm going to bring back with me the corn and the cucumbers. Okay, Mans has got the goods. So do you know at the start of the video where I had to repot all my cucumbers and all my corn? Well, here is the size of the cucumbers now. I had to replant them again. And this is the size of the corn. And yes, I had to replant these as well, as both of them were massively overgrowing and it was unfair on them just to grow in those little pots. It goes to show how long it's been between recording times, but now these are ready to go in the ground. So like I said at the start of the video, we are going to be doing the 3 sisters method, where we're going to be having corn, cucumber and peas. Don't mention about the peas aren't ready yet. Even though we have 1 pea growing, I've done a new batch of peas and we'll be bringing them later on in the video. I'm just going to let them get a little bit bigger before I plant them out here. But yeah, for now, these are the peas. We're going to be putting them in this grow bed here, all of them. And each of them have got their own special little unique way in which they all help each other grow. Yeah, it's going to be quite cool, as it's the first time I'm going to be doing this method. So let's see how it goes. So I'm going to put these plants now roughly where I'm going to want to be planting them to. And I'll explain to you my thinkings behind it. So this is the companionship we're going to be using. We're going to be using the corn in the middle as our structure. So when they get bigger, they'll grow up tall, which then the peas then wrap around the corn and then use that as a bamboo stick basically. The cucumbers, when they get bigger, they'll start covering the bottom of the bed. So it'll keep all the moisture into the ground and it should then stop slugs and pests climbing up through and trying to attack the peas and the corn. That is the method behind it. So I think the way I've placed it at the moment is okay. It's just a shame we haven't got the peas yet, but we'll go ahead and plant the corn and the cucumbers so they can start growing. Just got to remember those little stones there are the peas, and we'll come back and do them at a later date. Alright, so now the peas are in the ground and our little experiment is fully underway. I know this isn't the traditional Three Sisters method. As I'm doing this in the UK, I thought I'd mix it up a little bit by using peas and cucumber instead of squash and beans. But hopefully on this channel I will hopefully be trying to do experiments like this. I think it's quite cool to try and experiment with different type of methods. I understand plain growing is quite cool, but I think doing experiments while I'm deconstructing the whole allotment is actually a really cool idea. So we'll let this now just carry on with itself, and then we can see what the results are in the future. So that is it for today's episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and it is quite cool to actually see stuff in the ground growing. We've done a bit of clearance, a bit of DIY, so we have done quite well today. But hopefully the next 2 episodes of the allotment series will be watching this grow, finally sorting out the trees that I've got on the allotment, and starting to make a compost pile to try and clear all this up. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.